Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be with you this morning. It's morning here where I am. My name is ALISA Altabeth, and I am a compulsive eater. Like all of you, I weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the GreySheet. I call them into my sponsor on time, well, mostly on time. And I don't eat anything in between my meals except for abstinent beverages. And abstinence is the most important thing in my life. My abstinence date is August 15th, 2008. And I am maintaining, or it is being maintained for me, a 90-pound weight loss. I'm 5'1". I'm 73 years old, and my top weight was 218 pounds, and today I weigh 126 pounds. And it's effortless. That part is effortless. It's just been granted to me. I came into GreySheet when I was 59 years old. Before that, I had been in another food fellowship where I learned that we all have a common problem, but I did not understand that there is a solution. I could not grab onto the solution. Through GreySheet, I have learned that the key to recovery is within me. And I did not understand the insane ideas that I had about what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, what to eat. I had no choice. If there was something, especially the foods that we are allergic to, if that was there, I would just eat and eat until it was gone. And I didn't even know that it was called binging until I came into recovery. So I was trying every which way to lose weight. And one thing I learned is that Weight Watchers, for me, is a very good way to gain weight, because I didn't understand that the key to recovery is within me, and that the 12 steps, the support of the fellowship, the strict adherence to the food plan, that is what gave me the key to unlock the door. And I have so gratefully walked into a new way of living through that doorway to understanding and accepting my powerlessness, and to learn to let go of people and things that I thought were more powerful than me, and to understand that it's for me. And from what I understand from reading the big book, is it's all about connecting with that ultimate higher power in a way that can have me live each day in a meaningful way, in a sane way, in a way in which I can contribute to my own well-being and the well-being of everyone around me. And I'll just share the funniest thing about, I can't tell all my war stories because 14 years, it's been a lot of stuff, but the first day that I came into program, it was a much smaller fellowship, and I lived on Long Island, and there were maybe 4 or 5 meetings that I could easily attend. And I went to the first meeting, it was a Monday night, and there was no available sponsor. On Wednesday, there was one available sponsor, but it was a man. And he said, well, I'll start you off and we'll work together until you find a woman sponsor. But I never heard that part about find a woman sponsor. And today, 14 years later, I still speak with him every day, even if I'm in a foreign country or another somewhere else, it just worked out. So the first day of my abstinence was in 2008, and that year of my 5 children, 3 got married in that 1 year, no twins. So for the first wedding, which was in July, like I guess the 6 or 8 months before, I said, "Oh, I must lose weight for the wedding. I want to look good in the pictures." And so, although I was still in that other food fellowship, I also started working with a weight loss coach, a trainer, and just everything I could think of to lose weight. And of course, I gained weight and I could barely fit into my dress as mother of the groom on that day. And after that wedding, which was July, I was very demoralized. And I mean, it was a wonderful wedding. The children are happy, but I hated myself. So then my eating really got out of control. And I was, for the first time, I was binging and eating at night in my bed. It was really crazy and I was scared. So I talked to a close friend about it who's in the original fellowship. And she said, "Well, if nothing else works, GreySheet does." And I had not heard that before. And people who are not in GreySheet, they don't really know. I didn't understand what it was. I just knew it was strict, but I was desperate. So I went and I found this man sponsor. And then the next day, which was my day 1, I was going to Manhattan to have dinner in a restaurant with my husband, my daughter, her maid of honor, and the parents of her maid of honor, whom I'd never met before. And I had to weigh my food. And I'd never weighed my food in a restaurant before. And I thought, I said, "Can I just eyeball it today?" And he said to me the most wonderful thing. He said, "You have 3 options." Now, I never had any options when I was in the disease. So he said, the first option is you can eat your weighed and measured meal before you go to the restaurant and sit with everyone, and you can just sip beverages. Or you can go to the restaurant, of course, bring backup, and you can weigh and measure your food at the table with everyone else. Or you could sit at the table, be there socially, drink the abstinent beverages, and when you leave the restaurant, have your abstinent dinner. Well, that was definitely not going to happen. I could not imagine at that time seeing other people eat and not eating. And I wasn't able to eat the meal before. So I had to take the option of weighing and measuring. And by the end of it was my first day. So the maid of honor, my daughter, the mother of the maid of honor, they were all helping me with the scale. It was a lot of fun. And everyone gave me hugs. And what I took away from that day 1 was I have options in GreySheet. People say, if I'm at a party and they're serving something, "Oh, I forgot, you can't have that." And I think to myself, and I may say to them, "I can have it, but for today, I choose not to." And that's really how I feel, that each day I renew. When I put my breakfast on the scale, I am renewing my commitment to abstinence and to love of self and care for self that over the years has now moved outward, has trickled beyond me so that I can love everyone, even people who are hard to love. And so that, that is a wonderful gift of the program. And so now I'd like to talk about how I practice my program each day. And it certainly has changed since the pandemic, as for all of us. And the Zoom meetings have enabled me to grow and spiritually and connect with so many people that I never could have known before. But back in 2008, I was required by my sponsor and it's suggested that I attend a minimum of 3 meetings a week. And I loved going to the meetings because I had hope. I had faith by example. I saw the other people when you go week after week after week and you see people in person, that you see them being transformed physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And it reinforces my program. And so I went to the 3 meetings and some, I was still working at that time, but there were quite a number of meetings in Manhattan on the weekends. So I don't live far from the city. So I would often go in on a Saturday or Sunday and go to 2 or 3 meetings and then have lunch with GreySheeters. And so when we did that, there was like an 8 o'clock meeting, a 9:30. They were stacked. And then we'd have lunch, and then there was a 2 p.m. meeting uptown. So we called that a GreySheet spa day. It was a lot of fun. So meetings were very important. It took me, as far as the outreach calls go, that took me a while to get comfortable with that. But today I am very happy to speak to anyone who's doing what we do. And then the other very big, well, let me talk about the food. So the food is, we call it step 0, is that before I can really engage with the spiritual aspects of the program, I must get my food in order. And that is something that each person has to work out according to their needs. And I found for me, it was best either in the evening or early in the morning when I prepared my breakfast to also prepare my lunch and dinner, because I found that way I could just be free. Whatever came my way in the course of the day, if I suddenly had to go somewhere unexpected, that I would have my dinner available. I ate my lunch at work, and then sometimes I stayed late at my job, and then I would have my dinner right there. I wouldn't have to feel, oh my gosh, I might eat something not abstinent because I'm so hungry. So that worked for me very well. And today the way I prepare, because I am retired and I'm usually at home or often, I like to prepare food in bulk. I'll make many different abstinent proteins. I'll just get busy in the kitchen, and I will cut up raw vegetables and put them in a container that will last for several days, so I could just weigh them out when my mealtime comes. And I also cook different kind of vegetable stews, and I also love steam in the bag microwave vegetables. I'm a big fan when time is short. And when I go out to eat, I always bring complete backup. If I will pack each part of the meal separately so that I can partake of what's being served when possible, and just add the, the little bit extra that I need. My because people don't, they don't understand what a big salad is. They say, "Oh, I'm making a big salad for you, Elisa," and it could be like 5 ounces or something. So this is something that my sponsor really impressed upon me in the early days, and I found it to be so comforting, helpful, and useful to bring complete backup. And I also, because I get very anxious about a lot of things, I usually bring a lot of scales with me. And now I couldn't leave the house without 3 scales. Now I can have 2 scales or even 1 scale. So I really have much more trust today than I used to have. So that is basically how I handle my food. And the most important part is my spiritual journey and my connection to all of you, to the fellowship. And I take that as seriously as I do my food. I attend meetings. I do service. I am a GSR for my home meeting. I am a member of the literature committee, and I love working on different projects with other GreySheeters who like writing and love our program. And I also was a delegate at 3 of the World Service conferences. And I am active in my intergroup also. And I really do make outreach calls, which, it's like, oh yeah, make 3 calls. I did not, but now I do. And, not because I'm counting, but because I want to connect with these people who are struggling and succeeding each day in keeping on the GreySheet being, keeping the abstinence, a happy, contented abstinence. And another thing that I do is the studying of the steps and the literature. And I've been starting from my first year in program. I have participated in a step study workshop every year, which in GreySheet we call a way of life, AWOL. And since the pandemic, I do more than 1 a year. And I also talk about literature with some of my GreySheet friends. We study together. I pray with my sponsees together on the phone. We take apart, we study and analyze what the prayers mean. Right now, I'm focusing with one of my sponsees on the St. Francis prayer and taking each part, like where there is sadness, may I bring joy. We think, where is there sadness within me? Or how can I lift up someone else if they're sad, but not by interfering or telling them what to do, but by being a caring bystander. So that's the kind of thing that we look at. We look at the prayers. How do I actually practice that prayer in my daily life? And I also have become very serious about 2-way prayer, which is, the morning meditation and spending time with my higher power. And sometimes it's just a minute, 3 minutes. Sometimes it can be longer. And I have so much more appreciation for the literature of AA and the growing literature of our own fellowship. And it's so exciting for me to be speaking to all of you who are not, for whom English is not your mother tongue. And hearing all of you talk gives me an understanding of the humility and the effort and the courage that it takes for you when you attend meetings in English. And so I'll just close by saying that the abstinence comes first, but the highest power in my life is God, is the creator of the universe, whom I call God. And my job, once the meals are weighed and measured and ready for the day, my job is to live in a way that that enables me to live the principles, the spiritual principles of our fellowship, which are part of every religious faith, of every spiritual teaching. It's a universal thing. We are all human beings. We're all God's creatures, and we must all love one another as best we can. And that has made my life so much happier. My family relationships are better. My friendships are deeper. And I am kind to myself. I was so mean to myself, always this voice inside saying, you did it wrong. Another person would do it better. You never finish anything. You did this wrong. All these negative messages. Today, they are gone, and they're lifted one day at a time as I renew my commitment to my higher power, to my spiritual program, to all of you, and to myself. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you, no matter what.